Do I have to read anything for the group tonight? Yes, Your Honor.
Welcome to Iowa City's Community School Board meeting on February 13th. This is a special meeting. I'd like to welcome those in the public and those on TV watching us tonight. Thank you for taking an interest in our district business. I want to start tonight by introducing those that are at the table with me. To my right is Director Lori Rotland, Phil Hemingway, Brian Kersling, Tasha Deloche, Paul Rosler, Chris Liebig, and Recording Secretary Kim Colden. Steve's absent. He did join us for the exempt meeting, but he won't be joining the board meeting. Just a little context on the perspective for the need for a special meeting tonight as part of the welcome here. I think if we were to open up our collective fortune cookies this week, it would say, may you live in interesting times, and we certainly live in interesting times. And there's a lot changing, whether it's in Washington or Des Moines, and there's just a lot of things happening, and it's happening very quickly. And just for background, we had started our collective bargaining agreement as usual or as normal. And we have reached tentative agreements with all of our bargaining units. And based on some of the conversations in Des Moines around collective bargaining, there could be some significant changes happening. And basically, our employees, via their unions, requested that because of that uncertainty, we have a meeting tonight to approve our contracts as soon as possible. So thank you for the board's flexibility and everybody being here tonight on short notice. It's certainly appreciated. And again, I just want to say, we have a tremendously collaborative relationship with our people and with our unions, and we'll continue to have great collaborative relationships independent of anything that happens in Des Moines. But I just wanted to make the point at the beginning that the board supports our teachers and staff, and I think we're demonstrating that by having this special meeting tonight to meet the request of our employees. So I'll provide a little more detailed perspective when we get into the topic, but I just wanted to provide at least some perspective on why we're having this topic tonight. It was basically at the request of our folks through our unions. With that, the first item on the agenda is the ICA update. Brady and Mitch.
Hi, President Lynch and directors. I'm Brady Shutt, co-president and co-chief negotiator of ICEA.
I'm Mitch Gross, the other co-president, co-chief negotiator. We're kind of a duo here.
That's right. You get one. You get both of us. So we'd like to start off by thanking, Director Fry and Superintendent Murley, President Lynch, for your participation and for your respective teams. It was a intense, tough night. I think we would all agree with that. But we really appreciate that everyone, was purposeful. They were mindful of what was at stake, and they stuck it out through the whole process. We did submit it to our members just as an update, and we had, in my tenure, a record number of people vote to ratify yes. It was over 500 teachers voted, and it was a resounding yes on that vote. So we do appreciate you guys calling this meeting and understanding what was at stake on Thursday night and working with us.
And speaking of teachers, we'd like to give a shout out to our team as well. We had 8 fantastic teachers that were on the negotiations team. Brady and I, along with Angie Hayes, who's retiring from teaching at the end of the year, Susan Reckward, Robin Fields, Monique Kottman, Tom Kronk, and Megan Johnson. So they were fantastic partners, and as Brady said, it was a long, tough night, but we really appreciate everybody's work to make sure that we got to this point.
I think we'd probably safe to say that teachers are feeling a high level of stress due to the actions of the state. I think the federal actions would have created a lot of stress in any normal year, and this is certainly not normal. So the actions of the state, teachers the stress level is quite high. I think teachers feel as if they are, and they're a target for some groups in the public. They're not exactly sure what they've done to put that target on themselves. We have a whole group. We don't really have any in here with us because they're all heading to Des Moines tonight to hopefully get to participate in the public comment session. We've had a lot of people who have signed up for that. They're heading on buses, they're carpooling. And when we talk to them, the thing that we say is those are actions that we're really trying to influence, and they're really, really difficult. But what we can have a lot of success with are our local governing units like all of you. And so we want to just express our appreciation for the collaboration that we have, not only through the collective bargaining process and any change that might see here in the next week, but there's a lot of things that happen outside of collective bargaining. And we've appreciated this board having us at the table when decisions are made. And, we look forward to that happening. I think this is a very good sign from the board, the willingness to do those things in support of our different employee groups. Obviously we're looking forward to we have some big picture things that we want to be partners on in terms of the general obligation bond and some of our bigger items that we have in the district.
We don't want to be presumptive, but we know, there are a lot of districts that aren't doing what hopefully gets done tonight. And, we're very fortunate about that. We are cognizant of that. We make sure our teachers know that, the position that we're in. And you said, President Lynch, about kind of talking about Chapter 20. One of the things we would love is if this board would consider passing a resolution asking for Chapter 20 to remain the same and untouched. We think that'd be a great step from this board to do. A lot of school districts are doing it, cities are doing it as well, just because teachers and public employees are really the ones that are greatly affected by this impending legislation. So
I guess, thanks. And we did joke, I have to share, and I'm sure President Lynch will share this. It was a long, tough night, and not a single one of us ordered food. That was a little lack of foresight on our part. But thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mitch and Brady. Next item on the agenda is community comment, and I don't have any community comments. Kim, do you have any?
No.
With that, we're going to move on to the primary agenda item tonight, which is negotiated agreements. And I'll provide just a little more context. As I've already said, we have great collaborative relationship with our folks in our unions, and I just wanted to start by acknowledging that these were very tough negotiations on both sides, and I want to congratulate the union leadership and administration on working through these very tough negotiations. And I just want to acknowledge a few of the give and gets that you'll see in the packet tonight, and Jane will cover some of the details. But in some cases, we've agreed to 1 or 2 years on contract language, and Brady maybe alluded to this a little bit, or maybe it was Mitch, but this will really give us an opportunity that whatever happens with the law, then we can work collaboratively on transition. And it just gives us an opportunity to think through it. So there's been a legal change. Just because there's a legal change and maybe it's not part of bargaining in the future, it doesn't mean that there doesn't need to be a system or a process, or maybe that some of that stuff needs to move to handbooks or guidelines. And this allows us the time to collaboratively think through that and to be proactive versus just reacting to whatever legal things that may change. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to start on that now. I do want to acknowledge, certainly it's interesting times, from a financial standpoint, and, part of the tough negotiations were, settling on some, probably what you consider historically low settlements. I do think they're fair, and they were, we bargained hard, there were some give and gets, but I just want to acknowledge that based on the current situation in the state, and you look at our history, these packages tonight are very competitive versus past agreements. So I just acknowledge our people and administration for, again, working through some very tough issues. And then there are some significant language changes, and I appreciate where we have the opportunity to bring in people at specifically our new hires at some new rates, and that's part of the language change. And this is a pretty significant item because it allows us to lower our future cost structure for new hires in the district without impacting our current staff. And I think it's a great way to lower our future cost structure without impacting our current folks. And so I just want to close. Mitch covered this in his opening statement. But a good agreement is always when, and I won't say this, you said it more eloquently than I will, but a good agreement was when both sides leave the table feeling that they accomplished some of their objectives. They're certainly happy about that, but then they're also leave the table wishing they could have gotten more. And I think certainly that's a sign of a good, fair deal, and I think that's exactly what happened in this case. There was some give and gets on both sides, and it was very aggressively bargained by both sides. And there's probably a couple times where we thought the agreements were not going to come together, and we worked through those, and we came to a fair, collectively bargained deal. So I feel really good about it. So I just want to provide that kind of context. Jane, I'll hand it off to you for comments or going through the details.
Well, I'll just add and echo what's been said already too. I greatly appreciate the professionalism and the commitment of our staff. I know, especially this year, that Mitch and Brady have gone above and beyond with their activity and their work, and given the time crunch here, they've had to put a lot of things aside to make sure that they could get this taken care of for their staff and for their colleagues, and we certainly appreciate that. And Chris had alluded to, we had some tough moments at the table and away from the table, and never was there a lapse in the professionalism of our teacher team, and that's greatly appreciated too. Just on a personal note too, I never thought my first experience in this role of bargaining was going to look like this at all, so I'm hoping it doesn't look like this again. And I just appreciate everybody's time and commitment. We were able to stay focused on our students first and foremost, and doing what we can for our high-quality staff and letting them know that we really appreciate all the work that they do, because they're the ones that have that direct impact with our students. So with that, I don't know if anything to add to the information in front of everyone.
Yeah, I think the details are in the packet, so.
I agree.
I think we're going to approach this via 3 motions tonight. We have a couple of conflict of interest, so there'll be a couple of abstentions or abstaining. With that, I entertain a motion to approve the teacher's contract in the package tonight.
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion? Kim, ready to vote?
This is interesting. You can't select who made the motion and who made the second. Let's see if it'll go to a vote.
We can just go for a voice vote.
Just really quick here to see if this will. Here we go. Online voting is open. All votes have been cast, and the motion carries with Directors Liebig, Deloach, Hemingway, Rotland, Kirschling, and Lynch voting yea, and Ressler abstaining.
Thanks, Kim. I entertain a motion to approve the fiscal plant contract in the packet tonight.
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to say it's not that I don't feel it's deserving of the employees. It's just I have a brother-in-law who lives under my roof who would be affected by this, and so I will be abstaining from the vote.
Further discussion? Kim, ready to vote?
Online voting is open. All votes have been cast, and the motion carries with Directors Liebig, Deloach, Rotland, Kirschling, Lynch, and Ressler voting yea, and Hemingway abstaining.
Thanks, Kim. I'd entertain a motion to approve the remaining contracts in the packet tonight.
So moved.
Further discussion? Kim, ready to vote?
We've gone through the same thing. Online voting is open. All votes have been cast, and the motion carries with all directors voting in favor.
Jane, anything else you need from us tonight?
Thank you very much.
Could we do a resolution that we support Chapter 20?
The question is it on the agenda?
Can we put it on tomorrow's agenda?
Could have
less than-
15 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's less than 24 hours.
Won't come up till 7, probably. It's technically 24 hours.
We can stall.
Legally, we can't.
Yeah, I think we could put it on for the next agenda. I don't,
For the 28th.
Well, is this something we could do at the work session?
It would require voting. We don't,
Do we need to draft it first? or-
Yeah, it's just a statement of,
I suppose you could book a special meeting for the end of the board meeting tomorrow night.
We good?
I'm creative.
Yeah?
Who's going to prepare the resolution?
Does anybody happen to have draft language? We'd entertain some draft language. It would be pretty simple, right? I suggest we add this is all part of the negotiated agreements conversation, but I suggest tomorrow I'll request for a special meeting at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
That sound good? All right, awesome.
Thank you.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.